Okay, folks, and today, actually, this came out a few days ago, but I don't think it's being picked up very well. Um, and it's as I suspected, okay? And it's why a lot of people were going around saying, you know, just because of the COPPA rules and you set your channel to adults only, don't go swearing and carrying on and being more edgy, and that YouTube has spent the entire year trying to get us not to do. And one of the aspects of this is that gamers are being a little more crazy and whatever. Well, let's just watch this video and see if you pick up in the gaming area where they're going to basically separate games for kids and teens and make restrictions on games that are more violent. Okay? This is the actual censorship that comes down. It's got nothing to do with COPPA, okay? But it's what the FTC really does want, and it wants everybody who's edgy, swears, and everything else gone, okay? That's what they don't like. So when you make a video and you have some kind of imagery that could attract a kid, they will use that against you, okay? Don't kid yourself. If you're sitting there swearing and carrying on, and your video is open to the public, you're a target then. And that's why I talked about the restricted mode that forces people to sign in. Yeah, you're going to grow a little slower, but you're going to keep growing, and you're going to be at least there. Okay, and you can use other social media to grow your channels. The people will have to come and make accounts or have accounts. And if you have an account already, the cookie on your hard drive could do your login process for you, so you don't need to use your password and log in all the time. However, that's always more safe and secure, because if your computer ever gets compromised and they find the cookie, then they can just take a copy of the cookie and then they can log in as you. Anyway, security aside, let's just watch this because it's about the middle of the video where they first they go on about the copyright stuff, and I want to explain this to some of the people that are around me, why I was so frustrated all the time, and people were kind of, oh, he's suddenly seeming a little negative or whatever, and he doesn't seem to want to do anything, and all that stuff. It's because whoever's in charge over here at Google put me in some kind of a bubble where I was ahead of all of you in what they were going to be doing. And I'll give you a backstory. So I got into I was playing Diablo 3, and they had a public test server. Everybody can go in. There's nothing. There's no disclaimers, no nothing. But it's what's coming in the game in the future. So I got in, and I went and I did like 37 hours in a row, and I recorded. Um, First, I started with the Necromancer add-on thing, and I had included the like the little cutscenes that they have at the beginning of it and the end. No problems, right? Put that up, and then I had done the rest of the game, and at the end of the fourth act, I split up these two that were put together, and they copyright claimed me, right? So I just took all that out. But anyway, what YouTube told me was, don't worry, here's a new system, and it had little things that you could cut out, right? And I was like, what's going on here? No, nobody announced this to me. And then 2 weeks later, they're announcing this is going to everybody. And they've been doing this to me all bloody year. I'm like in the beta program, and I'm not even getting paid for this shit. And it's affecting growth because every time I turn around, I'm getting squashed by something I don't even know what's going on. So now, a lot of gamers are probably moving to something that's a little more content, like in the range of M or higher, or teen or higher, right? Like they don't want to play any kids games because of COPPA, right? Your channel's for, and Google has scanned my channel, and I have nothing that says out of 700 videos it is going to be for kids, at least in Google's opinion. It doesn't stop the FTC from coming here and going, right? Because these are public videos. People that are not logged in, that I have no idea who they are, could be watching them, and they could be kids, right? And Google could be getting data on that and then using a cookie on that kid's computer and tracking them. And I don't know. You see what I'm saying? That's the liability to the creator, is being public like this without those statistics. And it's disingenuous by all these lawyers and their bullshit talking that they're saying that we have statistics that we use and thus we're operators because we're using what Google gives us. No, Google has stats that I can't see and I don't have no idea about. Okay? And that's very easy to prove because I can go into the analytics and see that 80.9% of my traffic does not come from YouTube at all or Google. Okay? That means, right, that all the views, who knows? I have no idea who those people are. See, if I were on a website, and I actually can tell all you go get to apachefriends.org, download the XAMPP server, bring it to your computer, and there used to be a program that would allow you to track the stats of everybody who comes to your server. Everybody. You could see everything, okay? Now, you don't get to see their age because how do you know that? You don't. And that's the problem with COPPA, okay? It's saying if you make content for public consumption, you need to be responsible for it. Okay, if you're tracking people, because I could say, well, they're looking at this part of the website and that part of the website, and then say, well, maybe they'll be interested in this, and give them a little link somewhere, and then they go there. That's targeted. Okay, that's behavioral targeting. You can build up an AI or software that will do these things. Okay, and this thing about gamers has me concerned because basically what they're doing is they're going to be trying to target people that have violence in video games. I don't. Every video game has some form of violence. I see people using video games doing crazy things all the time. Okay? The only games that don't are simulation games. I mean, that's you know, it gets boring playing those things. Okay? I'm sorry, YouTube. Susan, this lady needs to get fired. We need a new CEO here that can take this in a proper direction rather than, trying to do all the things they're doing the way they are. I don't know why Alphabet is allowing this to continue much longer, because come January you're going to see a bloody mess. And the FTC, they wouldn't be going through all these hoops to do all this stuff if they weren't already picking out targets of people. Okay? So anyway, let's watch this.
The past quarter. There are so many new updates to share on our 3 key priorities: supporting creator and artist success, improving communication and engagement, and living up to our responsibility. With that,
living up to responsibility. Remember that.
Supporting creator and artist success. One of the biggest issues we've heard from you is around copyright claims. We worked on this earlier this year and made changes that removed the financial incentive to claim very short and unintentional music use. We added the requirement of timestamps for all manual claims, so you know exactly which part of the video is being claimed, and made updates to our editing tools so it's easy to remove manually claimed content from videos. We're also looking to support your success by helping you monetize in new ways that go beyond traditional ad revenue and tap into the viewer-creator connection. From Super Chat to merchandise, we're seeing real results. For example, more than 100,000 channels have received Super Chat, and we're building on that success by expanding the launch of Super Stickers to eligible creators.
Now those Super Stickers, I saw the video on that, and I looked at them, and they look like something a little child would go, oh, cool. And then you'll get COPPA'd. Okay? That was one thing, and everybody in the entire thread was like, what the hell are these morons doing? I mean, you got less than a month before these new rules. It's actually December 9th, everybody, that this actually takes place. They then give you like 2 or 3 weeks to comply. That's basically how law works. You were told, and then they enforce it, and then you have this amount of time to get your act together. It's actually December 9th when this goes in. And anybody who says any different, I urge you to go to the FTC's website and check up on the order. it's like, and you can see, I saw a video of the lady that was in charge of this from a year ago when she was, talking with somebody on this creator little channel thing. And she looks like somebody who's employed there that looks kind of respectful. And now you see her a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, she puts this little purple streak in her hair. Like, are you trying to be kid friendly? Is that a kiddie thing you're doing? Is that professional? You know what I mean? Like, oh my lord. To use a phrase someone uses. Oh, they're really dancing on these issues, okay? And I can't state enough how if every single one of us on December 8th for a day voluntarily went into restricted mode, because you can take it back off, by the way, and forced YouTube to have everybody log in, that would send them the message, okay? And they're going to lose 80% of that revenue. None of us get demonetized. However, we're not going to have comments on our channels. And then we send a message to them saying, we want comments back in this mode, or a mode like this that has comments, okay? And that would solve it. I guarantee you, you take 80% of Google's revenue away for a day, they'll get the hint, okay? But unless that happens, okay, which I don't see a lot of you wanting to do, because I don't see the effort being done by a lot of you. There's how many millions of us there, and only 760,000 put up on the petition, or 800,000. And they need 1 million, right? But anyway, continuing along.
Creators in 60 countries around the world.
Great.
For gaming creators, we heard loud and clear that our policies need to differentiate between real-world violence and gaming violence.
Whoa. What gamers actually said that? I don't see any gamers saying that. Let me just put it to the CEO here. If you can't tell when you're playing a video game, no matter how realistic it is, that it's a game, maybe we should have you under parental consent to be here, number one. Maybe your parents need to then say you shouldn't be playing that video game. Okay? That's a parental issue right there. Okay? Because games are the technology is now at the stage where we can create realistic human beings. In the next 5 or 6 years, with the proliferation of the top-end graphics cards now moving to medium, out to the general populace, you're going to see this. Okay? And what they're trying to do here is they're trying to step up on any forms of violence. Okay? What is violence to one person is not violence to another. Okay? I get stressed out at work, or I'm in life or whatever, and I come and I play a violent video game. I go and I wreck 800 people in the game, and nobody really got hurt. It was fun. They're done. And now my stress is gone. I feel better, and I didn't go out in reality picking up an AR-15 and shooting people. Okay? People should need to understand that. Okay? You start removing these. This is and it's almost like there are some people out there that want this to happen. They want us to stop playing games. They want us to go back out into society and carry that stress of all the BS that these people have done to us. It's wrong, okay? And don't let them do this, because this what they're going to do is, okay, 1 minute they're saying we have to go more edgy and play games that aren't for kids to make sure that we don't run afoul of COPPA rules, and then they're going to pull this shit. Who's running this damn company? They're idiots. They're freaking idiots. And what's going to happen here is, sooner or later, somebody with a couple of bucks is going to sue them back. Class action lawsuit wise. Okay? This runs almost like malfeasance, or whatever you call it, where It's intentional harm on a creator. You're creating harm where it's not needed. Okay? You're supposed to be 18 to have an account here at Google. That means any game that's M, any game. You're allowed to play any game. That should be any game. Okay? What Google's trying to say here is we don't want to be 18 plus anymore. That's what they're saying to this. Okay? This is the start. They go after the gamers first, and then they'll come for the rest of you. That's exactly what this is. Okay? And how do I play a game that isn't got some violence in it that's rated M? Okay? Or some adult themes, right? There you go. There's the term, adult themes, right? How does that work? Right? Like, it's beyond, this is just beyond stupid again. And you know, guys, I'm sitting here and I'm just making reaction videos to what I'm seeing, right? In a logical format that makes sense to me, and I'm seeing in the view counts that a lot of people who aren't even on my channel agree. You know? And you want to ask yourselves, right? Why aren't you at 10,000, 100? Because I don't want to be, right? Look at the crap that's going on here. And it lessens my liability by not being monetized right now, okay? And that way I can see how it's going to affect everybody and then carry forward. And like there are people in my building with kids and stuff, and I'm talking to them going, you know, right? It's amazing how many people don't even, and there are people that are on YouTube and using YouTube that don't even know this is still going on. People aren't talking enough about it, and there's a group of people that are just carrying on like they think there's nothing wrong. And I'll say, my channel is safe, according to YouTube. Now, with all the stupid things they're doing, do I trust YouTube? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Like, I'm a Canadian. You can't... I have very little risk here. The worst thing that happens to me is they nuke my channel. Well, I've mirrored it for the last 10 months on BitChute, right? Okay, I have my own web server locally that I can turn on and do things and everything. Okay, I've got my own search engine even. Okay, guys, like a lot of you don't know how much I do in the background all the time because I don't have a camera following me around, and I do actually like privacy. Okay, I agree that there should be protection for kids, but at the same point, this restricted mode that's existed since 2010 should be the normal mode. Why isn't the FTC telling YouTube to force users to log in to that age-gated restricted mode? Why isn't that in the order? It sounds to me like both of these two yahoos, the FTC and YouTube, want to keep things the way they are. Just go after, make some examples of somebody for I don't know what reasons. It really does look that way. Like, let's just back up and listen to this again.
Clear that our policies need to differentiate between real-world violence and gaming violence. We have a policy update coming soon that will do just that. The new policy will have fewer restrictions for violence in gaming, but maintain our high bar to protect audiences from real-world violence.
Okay. So fewer restrictions for violent video games, but have some kind of rules for real-world violence? Wait a minute here. That doesn't sound that bad, right? Well, what when I'm playing a video game, how does that have anything to do with real-world violence? No, really, because that got proven stupid a long time ago. All right? So what's happened here is they're bending the knee to that. Why is there a need for a policy on that at all? And I'll tell you why. It's because, like I said to people, this restricted mode would stop 80% of Google's traffic, right? That ad money, right? us creators are finding new ways, like with the super chats and the everything else, to exist and merch and stuff like that to make a buck, right? Right? One of these days I'll show you guys a mug I had out at Cafe Press in the year 2000. One day. It's rather novel. It's sitting up here at I made a 3D version of it, and it's sitting up here in private. So, and it's now unlisted. I put it unlisted just to make sure that nothing stupid happens to me. But anyway, so, and I'm not even done with this whole thing here, right? And
moving on now to our second section, improving communication and engagement. Meeting creators is always a highlight for me. And this past quarter, I sat down with Elfie Days and celebrated the 10-year anniversary of his first YouTube video. I also spoke with Wampa and Emma Chamberlain and took some tough questions from MatPat of The Game Theorist at YouTube's first ever Gaming Creator Summit. I also met with a group of creators in Europe, including Patricia Bright, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Sally Svelte, Visual Politic, Mr. Bruff, and Jessica Kellgren-Fozard. And to help creators have a better understanding of our guidelines, we're working to expand our self-certification pilot to hundreds of thousands of YouTube Partner Program creators next year. This program lets creators self-report how their video complies with the ad policies. It's a self-reinforcing process. The more accurate you are in your self-reporting, the more our system trusts you. Not only does self-certification give creators more control, it also gives specific feedback about why a video might have monetization issues. I wanted to mention that we also want to support creator well-being. Many creators have shared stories about burnout and said they feel they can't take a break from posting even when they need one. So I asked the product team at YouTube to look into what happens when creators take a break, and they found good news. On average, channels had equal or more views when they returned than when they had right before they left. So if you
And I'll explain that one. It's because, like you being burned out, your users can get burned out. One of the things early on when I was doing the gaming thing, I would make playlists and I'd be uploading into the playlist. I didn't tell people right away that what I was doing was creating a backlog of videos so that people could sit and watch them at their own leisure. So people were trying to keep up watching them, and they stopped, a couple of minutes in, and then they would just go to the next video and say, give a like or whatever, right? But if you do one video, you need to give it some time and space, right? At least go a 12-hour break in between videos, and that's a minimum. Try to keep them under half an hour long. Things like that. Like when I say I'm checking out a guy's channel to see whether I want to sub to him, I try to find a smaller video too. So you want to have at least one video you do every couple of days. It's smallish, like 5 minutes or so. That way, somebody new can come, watch your stuff, get a good idea what you're about, and leave a comment and say something regarding that video. And these are little tips, right, that I tell people that helps them. Okay, and I've sat here and I've literally helped maybe 100, 200 people this year get monetized. Okay, and I just sit there and I keep doing that, and I'm growing enough that it's fine with me, the growth I have. It means in about a year and a half I'll have that 1K threshold no matter what. But what it will mean is that most of the people that are subscribed to me will be well on their way to much bigger things. Now, continuing along.
You need to take some time off. Your fans will understand. After all, they tune into your channel because of you. Moving on now to living up to our responsibility. My number one priority is to balance our responsibility with freedom of expression. Sometimes people wonder why policy changes don't happen overnight. These changes take time because behind the scenes, we're bringing together hundreds of people at YouTube in consultation with many outside experts. Right now, we're in the process of updating our harassment policy guidelines, and we'll keep you posted as they're finalized. I also wanted to share some thoughts as I've met with policymakers around the world. In all of these conversations, it's clear that we need to continue to help opinion leaders understand the new creator economy and how it contributes to jobs, culture, and the economy. I've talked with many of you about the unintended consequences of the European Copyright Directive and how Article 17, previously known as Article 13, might impact YouTube and your channel. Thanks to all of the creator involvement, we were able to make improvements to the legislation. In particular, securing liability protections when we make best efforts to match copyrighted material with rights owners.
They actually weren't able to do that. That was a semi-lie, because that was only for the copyright people. They did something for them rather than you. Yeah, what a joke. What they've done then, she's basically saying, is instead of having a gate for Europe and Europeans, okay, to do this stuff, they're blanketing it YouTube wide. Rather than do the hard thing and do some actual coding and do stuff. It's the same thing with this restricted mode. They could make that, if they really, really, really cared about creators, they would say, listen, why don't we just take restricted mode, call it C mode, because it's for copyright, and then you put the commenting back in, and when you sign up, if you're under 12, go ahead and try it. See all the hoops you got to go through to get parental consent and everything else, okay? And if you're a teen, in fact, same thing, okay? Blah, blah, blah. What's going on now is, you know, mom can come home, pick her kids up from school, bring them home, you know, put Johnny and little Susan and Susie in front of the TV, hook it up to the internet, and just say, YouTube, there you go. And these kids can grab the remote and just go wherever they want, or watch whatever, and they don't need, there's no login there, right? That's the way it is. It's just like TV. That's the way mom thinks, right? Well, it's not, right? And that's the problem is, you know. So anyway, continuing along.
This change made a big difference and moved the copyright directive in a better direction for the internet and YouTube.
No,
We're
it
meeting
didn't.
with each European country's government now as they turn the legislation into national law, and that will happen over the next few years.
It's not an international law, though. So why are you, an American company, doing what Europe wants?
And inviting local creators to help explain how this could affect their livelihoods. In closing, we've seen how powerful it is when creators do good work around the world. So many of you were inspired by Mr. Beast and Mark Rober's Team Trees Challenge to help plant 20 million trees by January 2020. Last month, I was honored to join in the challenge and plant a tree with Mark. The response from creators to Team Trees has been so impressive. If you keep up this pace, we will hit the goal of 20 million trees. We're excited to help creators support their
Let me know when you get past 1,000 trees, ma'am, because that's what I did when I was a Boy Scout.
favorite causes with tools like the YouTube donate button. In the next few months, the donate button will come out of beta and become available to thousands of creators in the US, and later expand to more countries, giving creators the opportunity to embed a fundraising campaign next to videos and live streams. It's so inspiring to see all of your great work, so keep it up. Until next time.
Okay, so let's see what some of the people here. Yeah, and see, that's another one, eh? I see animation, video clearly intended for kids. You see what I mean? That's where Google's mind's at. They've made so much money. 80% of the I'm gathering 80% of the revenue that they pulled in over the last few years has been from kids, and since 2010. The solution's been here for all of us. If I created this account and I had known about restricted mode, I would have put myself in it to begin with. First of all, it would have not had any comments, so okay, and I could still be monetized and have content. As far as I know, you can still have a live stream and have people talk on the live stream, though. So what's the difference? You know, the difference is, the only people that should be showing up to my channel are 18 plus, right? Yeah, no mention of the stickers that they talked about. Yeah, here we are. Here's a good one. You're literally the reason YouTube has gone down the toilet. You are sanctioning of these tactics, and now since you guys had the bright idea to step out of bounds with monitoring, we all have to suffer under COPPA. We all dread what YouTube gets an update, because what it really means is downgrade. It's really evident you guys want to call the millions of users and have trending videos. The users here on comment section and beyond is what made YouTube a phenomenon, not you. What we all are entitled to, it's just respect that we used to have when YouTube's old slogan was broadcast yourself. Yeah. We'll see, guys. Like, I mean, there's a lot of fluff in that little video that actually, if you just dissect it a bit, you can understand. And one of the things, let's see here. There, let's go back in here. Let's go have a look at my channel for a minute here. Alright, let's go in here. Now this little video, where was the other one? Yeah, they took it out. It had this lady that you, well, maybe it's this one here. Oh, does it work? No? Yes? No? Here, let's go here for a minute. So you can go to scroll around and all these things and stuff, right? And as you can see, one of my videos is really doing, you know, it's about the new rules coming and stuff like that. There's restricted mode, right? And this video is really, you know, you gotta wonder, eh? All those lawyers and smart asses out there talking about, you know, fear-mongering and all this other garbage, and you look at the COPPA law, what it wants you to do, okay, versus what the FTC's overreach is, YouTube's overreaction is, and the solution's right there. And it would take literally probably half an hour for some decent coder to redo that, and then just go, everybody's normal on that mode with comments. It just, woo. Yeah. Now, where was it here? I was looking at things. There was a thing where I could see that reach. Was it reach? There's one of these statistics. Well, the problem is that since this time here, a lot of my traffic's coming from YouTube now all of a sudden because it's reaching people. But before that, okay, the search engine, I'm getting 40% of people finding me on a search engine, okay? See, it was traffic sources external. See, right now, proportion of your local traffic. See, 10.6% is, here's where the statistic is, right? This, okay, this number here, okay, used to tell me that it was 80% that was elsewhere, okay? And these are little things that can tell you, you know, stats on what you want to do and how you do things, right? Like the Unreal Engine stuff seems to be really popular, but it's animated, right? But it's not made for kids. A 12-year-old, and I'll say this, there were probably, I was a smart 12-year-old. I had a Commodore VIC-20, and I had a computer with no video games. Here's a book, son. You know, here's the book with all the commands in it, and you can have fun. So I'd sit there in front of the TV trying to figure out how I would make a video game, and I did at 12 years of age, back in the 80s. Okay? There are smart kids. I've seen some really smart ones, and they're probably the exception to the rule that would be able to play with these things. However, the general audience for Unreal Engine development is probably teenage, middle, like 16 and up, basically, I would say. because you're probably not thinking much about computers until you're in high school, kind of thing, right? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so this number's changed massively since I started doing these little videos, and it's telling me that this kind of traffic, it's more important, you know, doing this Unreal Engine stuff and playing around with it. The way I do it is, something comes out free. That's another term that COPPA has an issue with, right? Cool, free, all these terms, right? Well, if I show and I posted this on the developer forum. I says I have a YouTube channel, and usually what I do is when you come out with something free, I not only tell people that it's free over here, I also will implement it and show how it's actually could be used more or less, right? Here's the basic what you can get, because they have example maps built in with all these examples. So I just showing the examples. I bring in pieces and extra things, make a little scene so you can get a little more an idea of where you could go with these things. And that's kind of a cool thing, right? Lots of people go like visual things. They go, hey, that's really neat. You can do stuff with that. All right. So, and the other one is a 20-year-old video game that has an add-on. Okay. So those are my three things. So like, people are it's kind of weird. You a lot of gamers would say, oh, I want to play the latest video game and get lots of views and stuff. Well, if you're at the bottom of the barrel, playing the latest video game doesn't seem to work for you very much. Okay, I bought a couple of games when they first came out and stuff and played them, and they didn't get that much traffic. Okay, and that's the thing, right? This game, Median XL for Diablo 2, it's great. It's a good way to get your traffic back going. You do a good run, get yourself up to maybe 70 or 80th level. By the time you're there, you got a good view count, and you probably get some new subscribers. And I notice it's got a big international following. A lot of South Americans and I guess Spanish people are playing the game, and I have no idea why. I guess Median is kind of a Spanish term. I'm not even sure if I pronounced that right. Let's see here. There was one where... yeah. See this little thing here? They do that to me all the time. Right? They never want to tell me, See, look at here's what I was talking about. Watch time from subscribers. 87% of the people watching my videos are not subscribed. Right? What's weird is this 2.6% unknown. That's got to, and I'll say it, okay? There's a couple possibilities in my brain there. Government, because I actually posted this on the YouTube creator thing and thread and said to anybody, feel free to, send this video to the FPC. I'm Canadian. You're Americans. Have an American do that. It would mean more that way because it just would. So, and you can even see things like, gender and stuff like that. These are the stats that I get to do things with, right? And you can see down here the age, right? When I saw Upper Echelon and them messing with him by forcing his videos into kids' content, I look at his content and I go, whew, that's way edgier than me in any type of gaming thing, right? But they were putting him beside really kiddie stuff that shouldn't be there, right? And so I see most of my traffic is from the age of 18 to 24, and I got a few people between 25 and 34 years of age, right? Now I've got an add-on that I use, right? And I'd have to go into what do you call it? OBS is like screen share to show you. That gives me a lot more interesting stuff, and it will also allow me to check out my subscribers themselves and their actually subscribed counts, right? And this is how I know that the 300 and something people subscribe to me. If I add them all up, it's over 1,000,003 that they have. I mean, I've got some people that have over 100,000 subscribers subscribe to me, and I honestly get the feeling I'm saying the things you guys want to say, but you're too scared to because you don't want to risk your channels, and that's cool. You know, I get it. Yeah. So, yeah, and I've been here on YouTube since 2009. I've had an account. I just never bothered with it because back in the day, even well before YouTube was really anything, a hacker would look at some of this stuff and go, yeah, government run, government, and as we move forward, it's just the way YouTube bent over there and did that to us all, right? Anyway. Yeah. So, see? So anyway, I thought I'd leave that there, and I've got my thing set so that every time someone comments, it holds it if it has an emoji in it. That's the default that YouTube sets up. So if you put an emoji in something, your comment won't show up right away. I usually check a couple times, you know, or at least once an hour, and then put them up. Anyway, I thought I'd put this video up here to kind of warn people that, you know, she's talking about doing stuff with, you know, why even, if you're going to have less restrictions with violent video games, why do you need any kind of thing related to that with real world violence? What the hell are you talking about? So that would mean that they're going to bring new rules for edgier content, like people playing pranks and different things, even if no one's hurt, that it looks like it could be funny, you know. It won't be, because there'll always be that one person going, that's not funny, that looks like, you know. Oh man. So there's more rules that they're contemplating bringing, and this is why I say to people, be smart, act like you were before, where you weren't swearing and you weren't whatever, but keep making your content the way you were, and get that tube buddy thing, and at the, like, when you come into your dashboard, there'll be like a whole list across the top, and there'll be one called COPPA. Let it scan your account. It'll tell you what, because YouTube has gone through and scanned everybody, and it'll tell you if you have any kid videos. Go and check them out then. See what an example is then, and let some people know, okay? And that way we can all say, well, yes, no, what the hell, you know what I'm saying? Because I think this really scared the FTC, because I think what they were really after was some people that were doing advertisements for companies that were here and using the data from these P scores to market to kids, okay? And there were big channels that were doing this, okay? That was, and they would be the ones that would get hardcore fines, okay? That's what they were originally looking at. Not really so much little Joe Johnny that, you know, plays a video game and, you know, blah. You know? Anyway, gotta go, guys. I'll put this video up here, and I don't know. We'll see where it goes.